Today, I climb up a flight of stairs, lay on the floor, pop my knees, and do a little bit of running in order for me to get these images. And with that out of the way, today I'm taking you with me to town as I am capturing for my friend's portfolio. He is a professional model. His name is Gotham. And today we decided to shoot from Artscape, just right in the center of Cape Town CBD. So without further ado, I immediately jump into the space, allow him to be comfortable into the clothes that he initially had before we started the shoot, and allow him to just do some of his own posing without too much direction. There we go. I don't want to lie, the wind in Cape Town is so bad, but you gotta do what it is and work with what you have. So one of the key advantages of shooting in a space such as CBD is nice berries over there. One of the key advantages of shooting in the CBD is the lighting. As you can see here, we were using reflections of the buildings. You're also going to see more of this technique in more of the images that are going to come from some of the images that are up ahead. The mirrors that are reflecting light from the buildings, they make for good backlighting or rim lighting, as you can see in these images, and those are amazing photos. I also allow him to position himself between a light and a shadow. This also allows for cool dramatic images. I know sometimes people would say don't mix lighting, but one of the key advantages is you need to know your camera, and in my case I did have enough dynamic range to be able to capture the lights of the highlights and the shadows within the black range, and that was some cool shooting that we did there. From there, I also allowed him to do a little bit of moving shots, and they were quite nice, just to add a little bit of elementism. Instead of just having my model stay in one place, I also allowed him to move and capture some of those shots. Glad that I did not pop too much of my knees whilst getting this shot, but the results were quite impressive and I was really happy with the shots that I got. Thumbs up to the model, because it was quite easy to direct him and ask him to do certain poses and moves, and that was quite a nice experience, because you never want to be in a space that is just too hard and hindering. In case you are wondering why I have my bag, this is Cape Town, guys. You can never be too cautious. So I had my bag with me, all my gear with me, just so that I am clear and safe, because I didn't want to just, be careless with all my gear. So yeah. So one thing I should mention, what I was going for with these images is something that you would need for corporate use. Unfortunately, this only was made aware to me after the fact, but with models, unless their agency says yes, you cannot have the images for stock photography. Otherwise, for me, this was a stock photography shoot, because it is something that is more commercial, and that's like also my new style, as you can see in some of the images that are up here. However, there's always a workaround, social media posting and all of that stuff. agencies and agents won't be fussy about that kind of stuff. And where I used a little bit of cropping so that I can use the rails between the two carvings in order for me to get a nice composition. Unfortunately, it did not come out as nice as I would have expected my images to be, so I had to let go of that composition and just get a unique one from above, because it's always good to look into the environment that you're shooting and use those elements to your advantage. Here, I was asking him to then move, and then there was a building behind us that had mirrors, and those mirrors, as you can see from behind me, are quite reflective, so those images were really nice. Here also, with the building in the background, I then did some below shots, and they were quite nice to just give a little bit of, to give a little bit of life and liveliness to the images. And as you can see here, and then from there I had to ask him to just sit on the floor with his vest to give now a more sexy and relatable look, if that's the proper word. And yeah, it was quite nice on set. I should also mention, I always like to keep it minimal, have at least 3 outfits on set, not anything much, because that also allows us to mix and match without doing too much. One of the key advantages of shooting on this day was the lighting. There were so many buildings reflecting light towards us, and it made for amazing rim lights, and I quite enjoyed doing that. So I didn't need to have a reflector on me. I had to just work with what I had, and man, it was nice. Here I just also, as you can see, I had to use my pop-up flash because the light that was coming from behind was a bit too strong for me, so I had to then use pop lighting. Okay, now he's just showing off. Okay, if you have not subscribed and liked this video yet, I don't know what's stopping you, because this is the time for you to do so. If you like this, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Tell them there is a P Smith on YouTube, and we are making magic. Yo, what's up guys? So I finished my shoot, and it was such an amazing shoot with Gotham Lee, and I'm gonna go home, start editing now. If you watched this video, which I didn't do a proper introduction, or maybe I'll do the introduction when I'm home and editing. If you watched, please make sure to nearly failed. I nearly tripped and fell. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Adios.